Hello, world. Hello, my good friend Asaf. Hello, Chris, behind the magical curtain there. Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome
Hey
to the Great
everyone.
Transition.
1 2 1 2. Good.
Oh, so wow, we are definitely in our spaceship. Welcome. Last week when we were here, you were just emerging from um, a very heated and ancient battle in the Middle East once
Yep.
again.
Yep.
And today, yeah, and things are calm, which I guess means everybody is reloading their weapons in the
Mm-hmm.
meantime.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm not laughing. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. That's why I'm laughing. Uh, and we are now going to bring the conversation home into each of our lives. We here at the Great Transition are looking at the world through the lens of the wisdom of Kabbalah, the authentic wisdom of Kabbalah, what's going on in the world, and not according to the headlines. We're going to talk about the headlines, but when you go behind the headlines, when you go behind the characters, when you go behind the incarnations through the generations, what is this story that's evolving before our eyes? And that's what the wisdom of Kabbalah, this thousands of year old wisdom that reveals to us the blueprint of creation. And so we're not surprised by anything we see in front of us. We know that a fruit, everything ripens. What we have the ability to do in our life, what the Kabbalists talk to us about, is how we can be free from the bonds of time and speed up our ripening process, because we have these hearts and minds now. We can do it. When we were monkeys, we couldn't. Now we have the ability to do it. And I'm still working on this new mic, Asaf. Is it
Love
a
this
different kind of
intro.
microphone?
Love that intro, man. That
Yeah.
was uh
Okay.
that was promising and accurate, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Good
On a
stuff.
technical level, how's the level?
I
Because we
think
switched
the
the.
did you raise your gain now a little bit?
I just raised it a little
I
bit,
think
and I
now we're
also moved
good.
closer. But
Yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm
I
good.
mean, when I'm
Okay.
looking at the
So
levels here, it looks good. Yeah. Now
okay.
it's okay.
Good. So this is an international effort. You and Chris are in the Middle East, and I'm in North America. And you're broadcasting from there. I'm sending my signal
Right.
to you. You're broadcasting from there. So this is the new world. Pretty incredible. So
Yeah.
last week we spoke really big, really globally: war,
Mm.
missiles, Arabs, and Jews, and this
Mm-hmm.
kind of endless thousands of years situation. And today we want to talk about, I'd like to talk to you about something that, a phenomenon we're seeing here. You probably are seeing it in other places, and there's a lot of tentacles on this that extends
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. But this is way more kind of personal, and there's a lot of connections between what happens in a person and what's happening in the world as well.
Sure. Yep.
What Let's look today at this phenomenon. This thing now. People don't want to work after a year. I
Right.
mean, that's the headline. That's the headline. We're going to get into it. We're not passing judgment on it, because why would you want to work if if they're going to pay you the exact same amount of money or more to not work, and then you have free time to spend with your family or to exercise or to go places. So no, there's a lot of values to work. So let's get into it. There's a lot to talk about here.
Right.
But there is this phenomenon now that people have been home, or the world has changed since COVID started.
Right.
People got used to, people had a moment to reflect on their life. How do I feel now that I'm not sitting in rush hour traffic a couple times a day? Or how do I feel now that I'm not, sitting in front of my computer? No, some of us, like us, I do still sit in front of my computer most of the day. But there's people who maybe got a chance to not sit in front of their computer.
Yeah.
How
Now,
does
I,
that
I
feel?
think
I would
I
like,
think it's
yeah.
maybe Chris can pull it up. I think I saw a headline saying there was a survey that says 80% of the people don't want to go back to their office jobs or something like that. That's a huge amount when you think about it. Like 80% of the people don't want to go back to the office. What does that tell you about all that time they spent in the office? You know what I mean? So yeah, COVID, reveals reveals to us what we want, what we actually need, where we actually are, something like that. Something like that is happening. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. You were in
Yeah.
the middle
Okay.
of it.
So there was a
Yeah.
kind of a cute and funny sign at a restaurant. It said that I saw, I wasn't there, but someone sent me a picture of it, and it said, "Please be patient. We're short on help." And it was like a restaurant, please be patient with us. We'll get to you. We value you. We're short on help. And then at the bottom it said nobody wants to work. And then some clever person wrote at the bottom, like marked it with like a mark or whatever, Sharpie, said they only pay $2.15 an hour plus tips. So it's like,
Wow. Nice
so
one. Nice
no,
one.
you got to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
from the side of the business, from the side of the business owner, nobody wants to work. From the side of the person who was working before, he was making two or she was making $2 an hour,
Mm-hmm.
two
Yep.
dollars plus tips. Now tips could be good. You could get a $40 tip if it's someone's having a nice dinner in a nice restaurant somewhere, but probably, you're not
Mm-hmm.
getting a $40 tip for each person who's having dinner. Um, so yeah, there's an issue there. I mean, there is that nobody wants to work, but then you also have this other side of it where people are saying to themselves, and we're going to have to kind of look at the spiritual aspect of, or the first,
Mm-hmm.
at least the psychological and emotional aspect of this. Like I get up in the morning, I'm like, well, I can work at minimum wage today and come home at the end of the day with, $8 an hour. I can come home at the end of the day with maybe 60, $70 after taxes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
is that worth my life? So
Ooh.
you have this
Ooh.
thing that awakened in people, and even there's
Yeah.
people making more. I mean, you could be making $10, $15 an hour. You could come home at the end of the day with $80, with $100, with $150, maybe $200, depending on what your work is.
Mm-hmm.
But people are looking and asking themselves, forget for a moment about the unemployment benefits that people are getting. Well, no, actually, we have to kind of look at that now in the United States. The unemployment benefits in some cases
Mm-hmm.
are equal twice what the minimum wage is here.
Right. So in general, the people are getting paid okay by the welfare systems in the US when it comes to the COVID crisis, right?
Now they are,
The,
yeah, there's a lot of COVID relief.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well,
Yeah.
that explains, how a person can suddenly think about to actually, can I just not work? That's, I mean,
So if you're
yeah.
getting paid $30,000 in COVID relief money a year,
Mm-hmm.
and you were making minimum wage before, which was 20,000 or something like that a year,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty no brainer right there.
Yeah.
It's a different story if
Unless,
someone.
unless you really like your job and you have ambitions and passions that have to do with what you're doing, which,
I think that I would put that
which
aside for a minute
apparently
because
80% of the people don't have. But yeah, okay.
right, because I think if you had ambitions to do something, and that in again, without any kind of judgment around these things, but just looking at it as like forces in nature,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody wanted to be an engineer, an architect, like, and they really had an ambition for it, they would, you'd find somewhere, you'd start, you would do something to follow that. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the jobs that are, you wanted to be a doctor, I'm sure it could be hard, but you might be able to find something if you had. But I think that the majority of what we're talking about is people working in restaurants,
Yeah.
people working in Home Depot, people working, on the road, people working in the pharmacy.
There you go.
81.
The Chris has come to our aid here. Um, I, yeah, maybe like this. People, Chris, what are you showing? A survey by Harvard Business School has found 81% of people who have been working from home through the COVID-19 pandemic either don't want to go back or prefer a hybrid schedule. Yeah. Yeah, and there's more data here.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
There you go.
Harvard.
Over 80% of workers don't want to go back to the office full time, survey finds. Yeah.
Wait, what's the byline there? Parents with kids at home are more likely to
I missed
Parents
it. I
with
don't know.
kids at home
Bring
are
it up
more likely
again,
to want.
Chris.
That's funny. Parents with kids at home want to go to the office. I thought it would say the opposite.
That's
Okay,
that's what
maybe
it says.
I think so. Parents with
Oh,
kids at home are more
are
likely
more
to want to.
likely.
Oh, man. So we have a lot. We have a lot we need to correct here.
But
Um,
that's an interesting thing, though, huh?
that
Because
sure is.
well, look, my wife Ali might be available later on to join us for a few minutes, and because there's something that she and I spoke about that I thought could be very relevant for the show. So we'll see if she texts me soon. Then we can bring her up and we'll talk about it. Has to do with a little bit with this as well. Anyway,
Okay, that's
that's for later.
interesting. So parents don't want to spend quality time with the kids. That's new data point
Yeah.
on the big spreadsheet in the sky. Um, so what is let's let's find a spiritual angle, an angle from the wisdom
Right.
of Kabbalah about
Right.
what's happening, because we don't look at things that are happening in the world and being like, oh, that happened in the world, why did that happen, where did that
Mm-hmm.
come from,
Yeah.
and then try and just, you know, screw or nail something onto it. No, 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 there's a
Yeah.
plan. Humanity's going through a plan. Humanity's developing, whether it's a volcano or locusts or water shortage or
War.
a virus.
Anything. Yeah. By the
Right.
speaking of
It's
a virus, by the way, I just heard that Biden now is sending the intelligence community to look into where COVID actually came from. To he wants an answer in 90
oh,
days
the
to
Wuhan
see,
lab.
yeah, to see if it, and it's like it's so funny from a Kabbalistic perspective because okay, so you're gonna find that it's not the bat that infected the human, it's the human that engineered and infected the other humans. Then what? So that changes that. Of course you can go into like motives and political interests, but beyond politics, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't change anything. Nature put us into this COVID crisis as part of our evolutionary process. We've been going through something, and whether it came directly from a human or through an animal, it's still a part of nature's plan. That's like that's the kind of perspective that you really only get through the wisdom of Kabbalah when you think about it. Um. Anyway,
The
where
interesting
were we?
the
Sorry, I just
the
yeah.
interesting thing about if it comes out that it was a lab leak,
Yeah.
what it does do is, humans are slow learners.
Yeah.
You know, am I
Yeah,
allowed
it's
to
true.
talk
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jews on this show about Kabbalah?
Sorry, say it again.
Am I allowed to talk about Jews on this Kabbalah show?
Oh.
At one point or another, we're going to have to. But there's through the years, as this wisdom, the Kabbalists were constantly persecuted,
Yeah.
constantly through the thousands of years. They were always persecuted. So what something like the lab leak does, for example,
Yes.
is it shows to a very slow learning species, meaning humans, uh, more and more just what we're made of. We
Mm.
see more and more this kind
In
of
in what
rot
sense?
in
In what sense do
in
you mean
in the
this?
sense that humans are just bad managers. Like, left up
Okay.
to our own devices, we just screw things
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
again and again
Yeah.
and again.
And nature is gradually helping us see that. That's a conscious
Gradually.
gradually. Yeah. No, that's a very it's a very interesting thing in its relevance to today because people 20,000 years ago didn't have the same means, technological means, power, the ability to influence the world as we have today. And even though we have all of these abilities today to shape the world and change it, the question is really how mature are we to use all that we have in our hands, and the dissonance between you know our the evolutionary of our connection to each other and to nature, and our sense of responsibility for each other and for nature, that, as opposed to the atomic bombs that we're holding in our hands, or the virus, the viruses that we're developing in labs, or whatever it is, the dissonance is becoming more and more stark. And that is very, this is very true for the 21st century. This is something that people thousands of years ago, it was, it would sound very like sci-fi to think that people can just in an instant, just send themselves to oblivion. And today it's reality. We can actually annihilate ourselves very quickly.
In a couple days.
Yeah, very quickly. Very quickly. It could happen like this,
And
but
we have a lot of people whose skin melted off of them, and there would be some remnants left on Earth after a nuclear war. There might be certain places that don't get hit so hard. I don't know where, and some people would survive. And eventually, I know, like in where did they have that nuclear? In Russia, the nuclear meltdown, Chernobyl.
what? Chernobyl, yeah.
All kind of animals came back later, and all kind of very interesting thing. The way that nature
Yeah,
regenerated
nature
afterwards.
revives itself in ways we don't understand. We truly do not understand this general ecosystem called planet Earth. We really, there's great Earth scientists doing great job mapping and analyzing and seeing, but the true deep mechanism of how it works, we don't understand it, because the program is deeper than the physical manifestations. It's a spiritual program that is governing planet Earth. It's a deep, intention that is beyond matter, that is shaping all of matter. So that's why, we don't really understand how planet Earth works, and we won't until we attain that deeper program, that intention that drives it.
So how is this program? So when
Okay,
you describe
did
it
we
like
go
that,
off topic completely? Right?
No,
We were supposed.
I'm reining it in. I
Okay.
know what I'm doing here, man. I'm reining it in. So
All
there's
right.
this
Go for it.
spiritual energy that's moving through time.
Yeah.
Okay, and that has no limitations. It doesn't care about time. Nature has as long as she wants. She's not
Right.
concerned about 10 years, whatever. So
Mhm.
nature's spiritual plan, creator, spiritual plan, nature, same thing, is moving through time. And every 70 years or so, new protein bodies dress on that energy that's developing and then come off. And then a new body comes on and goes off. But the inner force is moving through time, right? Without any
Yes.
limitations. And we are enjoying the ride for 70, 80, 100 years, however many we get. The question is now, as nature is moving us forward through this generation, what is this phenomenon where people don't want to work? What is this change that nature is causing inside of us that we don't want to do what we were doing before? That something inside of us is changing that says,
Yes.
no, before, could you imagine a few hundred years ago, a person's like, I don't want to work. It's like, okay, well, guess you're not going to eat. So good luck with that. And, and then a person sits at home for a few days and he's hungry or his family's hungry. And then he goes out and he works. Today, it's not like that.
Yeah, I think COVID is, as we've been saying, by the way, and as Kabbalist Dr. Michael Lightman has been saying repeatedly, it hasn't just, changed us in the sense that we have to wear masks, and we have to keep away from each other, and we have to get vaccinated, perhaps. Depends where you are and what you're thinking about vaccines, but right? But that isn't the change that has happened. What really was happening is that our desire has received a certain kind of change its course a little bit, change its direction a little bit. The fact that we suddenly saw that we could spend more time with ourselves, with our children, with our families, that we actually don't have to be in the constant rat race of work, that produces so much stress and tension and sickness, and you know, we kind of got out of our cocoon a little bit. We got our desire, human desire, has slightly evolved. We're beginning to identify that we are, in some sense, in a mode of that is similar to slavery. I don't want to I don't want to underestimate what slavery was in the past. But in a sense, we are beginning to identify, why do people don't want to work anymore? Because we're starting to see that maybe we don't have to. Maybe we don't have to work as much. Maybe we don't have to work as hard. Maybe the whole concept of work needs to receive an upgrade. People are starting to feel, I think, more or less consciously, they're starting to feel that it doesn't make sense that we spend 80% of our time doing something that we don't necessarily want to do. Perhaps we're even miserable doing that, the worst case scenario. But at the very least, it's not fulfilling us. And we got to ask ourselves, maybe there's something better we can do. Maybe there's a different arrangement we can make also in terms of providing for our necessities, in terms of providing for what we need. And especially in a highly technological world like today, where you can easily feed, clothe, and house all the people of the world, then maybe what's holding us back is some belief that has to do with an old world, that we are gradually now realizing through COVID, through this natural process, that we can actually come out of. You know, there's some stories about how people who lived through slavery in the past didn't know they were slaves until some point, and there was a certain awakening. And I think that's one thing that's happening. Because look, at the very simple, like kind of economic outlook on the matter, there's a few people that are, harvesting most of the fruit. There's a few people that are collecting a lot of money, a lot of benefits from the fact that a lot of people are continuing, are working, and therefore they make this cycle of consumption, production, etc. just keep going and going and going and going and going. And for a few people at the top, it's very beneficial, but for the most, it's not. It's not the best arrangement.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. So you probably say it's probably better to have more than not. Maybe I don't know if there's a survey about it, some science behind it, but why is it more beneficial?
For what's beneficial?
Like, is Jeff Bezos's life,
Yeah.
he's the richest man, is his life better? I mean, does he have any?
Oh, that's a deeper question. Like,
I'm
does
just
he
wondering,
really,
like,
you're asking, does he enjoy life more than others?
I don't want to make little of somebody's situation who doesn't have food. So I'm not talking about
Right.
not having food. We're talking about people who are receiving unemployment benefits, starving people, different topic completely.
Yeah.
We're talking
Yes.
about people who are earning money or receiving money for not working, with the choice of, do I want to go back, millions of people, to work or not? And my question is, Jeff Bezos, he, in this sense, detached from kind of emotion, he's also very much a slave, because what can he do besides, I mean, I don't know how many hours.
Why is he a slave? Why is he a slave? No, I agree with you, but
because
let's put
I know
the finger
what I
on
need to
it.
do in my life,
Yeah.
with my responsibilities, with those kind of responsibilities, those kind of corporeal responsibilities in the world, that many employees, that many people suing you, that many copyright infringements, that much money. Could you imagine how many people at every level are trying to siphon off his money, steal off his money, just,
Yeah.
in inventory, in trucking, in
Yeah.
accounting department, in everywhere. I mean, when you have billions of dollars flowing in, there could be endless holes in those kind of buckets. So how does he have any freedom? It's another topic, but I
Yeah,
would say,
that's another topic. That the higher you rise to positions of power and money in this world, the more you get tied up on the way with all kinds of systems that want a piece of you, and it's a yeah, that's a whole topic in
so
and of
yeah, that's
itself.
that's that's another topic. But I just don't think right away that the people who that anybody is going to escape this. Doesn't matter how much. If you got $100 coming in, or
Hmm.
$1,000 coming in, or $1,000,000 coming in, I think that the inner process that's going on inside of people is very similar. But in the meantime, let's talk about that inner emptiness, that inner dissatisfaction. Because for
Right.
that guy,
Hmm.
he still thinks it's almost as if the unemployed guy is a little bit freer, because that guy still thinks he's going to fulfill himself by getting more money.
Oh, check
The
this out.
richest guy in the world.
Check this out. Some Bezalel wrote in the chat, Bezos is resigning. Just reported. There you go. So,
Just now, maybe
someone,
we should talk
someone,
about more people.
yeah, maybe we should predict into existence some other things as well.
Interesting.
Chris, there we
Jeff
go.
Bezos to step
Chris,
down
Chris
as
to our aid. Chris, can you zoom in when you put up this these headlines, just so we can like read it bigger?
that's
Yeah, there we
an
go.
hour ago. No,
Jeff
this is February
Bezos.
2nd. Hold on, why does that say February 2nd?
Yeah, it does say February 2nd.
Oh, in quarter
Uh,
3. Okay.
So it's,
All right. Well, so I guess it's something that's been in the works, maybe.
yeah.
Okay. So
Anyway,
there you go.
anyway,
Um,
here's another angle here. Um, and again, look at human history. We haven't the way we live in the last 100 years, pretty much 100 years. Let's say from the 1920 from 20s to today, to 2020, more or less, until COVID, right? That 100
okay.
years, in the Industrial Revolution, etc. Something like that. So we have never ever lived like that. The concept of work was never so intertwined with our identities. And that's, I think, is another thing that we're beginning to realize thanks to COVID. And I think it plays a role in the fact that people don't want to necessarily go back, because we've created social conventions, social conceptions that what you do at work is what you are. It's who you are. It's what you're worth, right? Our identities have become glued to what we do at work. Now, this is something that, again, definitely serves those who benefit more from this whole workforce idea, but it doesn't necessarily does justice to the individual human being, and it's not. It's again, it's a whole new thing that didn't exist even just hundreds of years ago. People are this idea of connecting our identity with our work is fairly new, and it is not necessarily making us happy. And I think people are beginning to see that thanks to COVID. Now, add to that with less people working, less production, less industry even, we're also doing a little bit, making things a little bit better for the planet, for the other animals, and for exploitation of other people. And that brings into question, we need to start asking ourselves, what do we actually need for life? What is it that we really need? What is it that we're really after? And that is still empty. That whole space of, okay, if we don't go to work and make our work our identity and make that our passion, and if that becomes just an instrumental thing to provide for ourselves, then how do we fulfill that empty space?
You
What's
you can
the
find you
Yeah.
can find street musicians in New York who are so ridiculously wonderful to listen to,
Hmm.
so soulful, and
And they
they
can't make ends meet with that.
they're like cleaning dishes at a deli,
Right.
and
Right.
they're way beyond somebody who may have a record contract somewhere, a recording contract somewhere. Um,
Right. So
and I'm
that
sure that
just that
happens
just
all over the
tells you
place. There's
that just tells you that the system we have right now, at the very least, it definitely doesn't serve to bring doesn't help people bring the best out of them. Doesn't
right.
help people. Yeah.
We won't solve something to like scour every street for the best musician and give him the record contract, because what they're selling is, well, anyway. The point is that it's not just, when someone says, "What do you do?" and you're like, "Well, I'm a dishwasher,"
Hmm.
and then parentheses, "but I'm a better piano player than,
Hmm.
the person who's, made $1 million last year with a record contract." So, but the question is, there's two levels. One level is, what do I need to live? I need food. I need shelter. I need a house. I need some place to live. I need some food. I need health. And then everything after that. So, like, what do you do for a living? It's basically like, how do you know, buy toilet paper? How do you buy your chicken?
Hmm.
How do you buy your broccoli? Who cares? And that's almost like these people who don't want to go to work. It's like, for all of those things, for my food and my shelter and whatever, just it's simple animal stuff, pretty much. Yeah, I can have a nicer one or a less nice one, or some of that's luck and some of that's other things. But after that, that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what my life
Yeah.
is about. I
Yeah.
need to sustain my body to be on
Hmm.
earth, but after that, that's who I am. That's what maybe I didn't get the ability in this lifetime to be this person, the street musician says I couldn't become Paul McCartney this lifetime, but I could play like him, I could sing like him, and I got a
Right.
thousand songs like him, and I ended up washing dishes.
Here's what I'm trying to there's a big thing that's happening here, and let's try to really express this, okay? There's a huge thing that's happening because we are in the very, very initial steps, the very beginning baby steps of coming out of a belief system that has been putting shackles on our hands and minds, and on our vision, on our creative vision, for so long. This is what I feel is beginning to happen now, and this is what Kabbalists refer to as this last generation, or what we call the Great Transition. We are starting to go into its labor pains. It's where we have to be reborn, in a sense. All the problems that we're seeing now with work, and as a result of COVID and everything else, it's not that we are supposed to fix these problems and go back to normal. Get rid of the welfare that you gave people, so they will understand they have to go back to work, and go back to work. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we need to get the vaccinated, and then we can live our lives like normal again. No, these problems, they're not there for us to fix them. They are there to fix us. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
these. Okay, everything that's happening, including people don't want to, people not going back to work, and what preceded it, and everything else, it's nature too. Nature is putting us humans through an evolutionary process. It wants to take us to our next level of evolution, just like it does with the rest of nature. We're evolving. We're moving to a higher level. Now, all the things that we're experiencing as problems, where the world is starting not to work as it used to work, the systems are the man-made systems that we have are starting to fail, are starting to grind into a halt. It's not that it's happening in detachment from this evolutionary plan. This is part of human evolution. And we have to find what is it that we need to change about how we perceive reality, how we, what we want from life. What is the purpose of human life on this planet? Is what we need to upgrade, because the goal of human evolution is not that we stay put and that we go back. You can't go back. The world is changing and it's going to a new place. And at the core of it is our change. We have to change. We have to change ourselves, our minds, our hearts, our perception of reality, our goal in life, our preferences, our values. They all have to go through an upgrade. And there's just feel there's a need to express this in more than one way, but yeah.
Okay, first of all, I see we're broadcasting on the Great Transition page on YouTube. We're also broadcasting on the Kabbalah Info YouTube page, and I see somebody named who I've never seen before, named Christian from Gambia. So I know we have a lot of countries that join us, but welcome Gambia, welcome Christian. Have we seen Gambia before?
Wow, I think that's a new one on the Great Transition.
Amazing.
Hello, great.
And Indigo also, and Javier. I don't recognize those names. So hello Mexico and UK also. So hi everyone, and of course all of our friends that we love seeing all the time, and who are creating such a
Tell you what, Seth.
nice place in the
I'll
chats.
tell you what. You have a guitar there
Yes.
behind you, and
I
Ali
do.
just texted me and said that she's able to come chat with us for a few minutes. So I would say, why don't we do you do some live magic thing, and I'll in the meantime set Ellie up so she can join us.
Okay, cool. So Chris, new mic, please send me a message, I guess, in the chat about make sure the mix is good. And how about one of Zamir from Hadera? What about one of Zamir's songs? Okay, let's do it. So
Yes,
we do it now?
yes.
Okay.
Let's do it. I see our friends in the chat are approving of our idea.
Oh, good. Good. All right, so Chris, please put in the chat here if the mix is good. We're living in a time the people have awakened, living in a time the truth is standing naked, living in a time where everyone's connected. We're living in a place people are collected, living in a place where no one can escape it, living in a place where everyone's connected. Underneath the ground, I can hear the sound. The earth is shaking, shaking. is changing, and a voice is calling us beyond the wall. Allie, woo! We're living in a cage. The people are dependent, living in a cage where everyone's affected. We're living in a cage where everyone's connected. Underneath the ground, I can't hear the sound. The earth is shaking, shaking underneath my feet. I can't hear the beat. The world is changing, and a voice is calling us beyond the wall.
Woo!
All right.
Yeah. The world is changing. Such a
Yeah, he does one chord in there I need to figure out, but pretty cool.
such a good one.
Amazing lyricist.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He is,
wow,
isn't he?
Zamir, thank you, bro.
He is.
He's so good.
Yeah, and you do justice to the lyrics, performing them.
Hi, Allie.
Hi, babe.
Hello.
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 Okay. Can
How's
I
the
just
ceasefire? Sorry.
can you hear us well?
Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
I can hear you pretty well.
Okay.
so yeah, that's a great icebreaker, Seth. How's the ceasefire?
How's this? Well, it's so much better now, but we were talking about this, that there's still this, it's exactly what you were talking about before, that this pressure, these you were calling them like labor pains. So, COVID was like, it was like, okay, getting heavy, getting uncomfortable, like a pregnant woman. Okay, this is like not, this is uncomfortable. And now, like the war we had going on, it was like, okay, this is getting serious. This is, totally like labor pains. And now we have a little bit of quietness, I guess, like quiet before the storm, I guess.
Before the next contraction, huh? It's
before the big one. Probably,
okay.
Yeah.
So Seth, I told you in advance I wanted Elle to come on because we had an interesting chat. There was okay. I'll just say what it was that sparked it, and let's go from there. Okay. So there's a new law in Israel that as of August 2021, I am going to have to install a system in my car to make sure that I don't forget any babies in the car. So it's a law that comes into effect.
The government cares for children. That's what you're saying.
Well, and people don't. I mean, basically, it basically means that we thought it's like it. We started talking about it, and we thought, how crazy is this that we need regulations and laws in place to prevent us from forgetting our children in the car. This is why it happened.
That's
because
probably why that Harvard study showed that parents want their kids to be
there you go
in
that's
school.
I'm sorry, but you got it all wrong. I was thinking
really
about it
okay.
Why people want to go to work, and it's not that they don't want to stay with their kids. I mean, part of it, yes, some percentage is yes, they just want some peace and quiet at work, but you can't work when you're with your kids. It's just
Okay.
impossible. If you want to work and you want to get paid, so you buy your kids some, some stuff and some food and some clothes, you have to have that time to work. So it's not about, people who don't have kids. It's great. I'm at home. I can go to the fridge. I can, work in my underwear. Great.
Ah,
But for people with kids, they can't do it. It's impossible. It's crazy. And the same thing about the installment of the system in the car. It's just that life is so crazy. You just can't get to everything. We're so overwhelmed by information, and we also live in our phones, and we also live in this plane, and we have to take care of the kids, but we're also so bombarded with like messages and texts and information, and so it's just crazy. So of course this installment of the system is a plaster of the bigger issue, which
Faster, like a
is
band-aid, you mean?
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
bandit. So it's just that life is insane right now. I mean, I can speak for myself as a mom, but also I have a business and I work, 5 days a week, and I have 3 kids. I'm sorry, 4 kids. I didn't, I forgot to stop. So it's just crazy, right? And it's just I just like yesterday, I wrote a checklist for myself, and Asaf is always saying to me, write it down, and then you'll feel better, and you stop thinking about it. And I wrote it down. I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel better. There's just so much stuff to do. So that's just, life is just crazy. I saw some like videos about people, poor parents that forgot, it happened to them. They forgot a baby in the car.
Oh my God.
And one dude was just saying, I was going to work and I stopped near the daycare and I was about to go out and put the baby in the daycare, but I got a phone from my boss, so I have to answer it. There was an emergency, so he just went to work. He thought he already did that and he just went to work. It's just pressure. It's that pressure we were talking about. I mean, it's not the poor guy's fault. He loved his baby. It's just that this pressure over all of us. And it's exactly with, we were bombed. We were
It's so
in
unnatural.
lockdown.
It's so unnatural what's happening, that the most natural thing for a parent, would be to take care of your child. That would be the most natural thing. You don't need any education or training to just keep the kid alive. It's like instinctual. The fact that that there has to be legislation now because the way we're living is so unnatural. And then this whole first part of the show about people not wanting to work, that is giving a person time to think for a minute, to chill out for a minute, to do that huge list of things that's piling up. So maybe all these things are connected here.
Of course they are. That's the thing. It's just everything is so crazy, and instead of just trying to fix this or that, or let's give parents a license to parent, or we just need to kind of educate ourselves and our like value systems, what we value in life. As you said, what is the point of it all? Isn't that's actually the main question, isn't it?
Do you I'm trying to like bring up something interesting that you and I started talking about. Do you think that this uncertainty that that we're feeling now, a lot of people are feeling, I don't know if everyone's feeling that, first of all. I mean, we're not, I don't think, Seth, right? We're not the best example for, how most people think, obviously, because we're looking at everything that's happening as a part of a natural system, and there's a certain plan that nature is gradually evolving us towards, and all of that. But there is a sense of uncertainty about the future. I think it's safe to say that all around the world, after COVID, after seeing how reality can flip in 1 second, and wars that pop up in different places in the world, and the economy is all shaky and it's not clear where it's going. I think a sense of uncertainty, it's fair to say that some people, most people, a lot of people feel to some extent more or less, in their bones. So, do you think that mothers feel this uncertainty differently? Do you think women feel this uncertainty different than men? How do you think how do you feel it?
Well, for me, obviously, definitely. I mean, if, well, first of all, I think, as you said, for us, it's a bit different because we kind of know, we kind of have a little bit better view on the bigger picture. But still, I think I can feel it around moms around me, around people that, okay, before you kind of knew you knew what you have to do, like for a mom, okay, okay, I got kids, I have to raise them, they have to be people, they have to work, I want them to have a good future. So I kind of know what to do. They have to go and learn this and that, they have to get pretty good grades, they have, and now it's like, okay, will they have food, will they be able to go outside? Maybe we need to plan for, like, maybe they need to know how to, maybe we need to teach them how to get comfortable in small spaces, because they're going to live in like this box. We don't know how to help our kids
Right.
to be prepared for the future. That's actually like, will they have vegetables to eat, or they're just gonna get this box with powder? It's yeah, we don't
Didn't
know.
think about that.
It used to be, get a degree, or do something you're good at,
Right,
and you
right.
can make a living. Now it's like, and it's funny because I took our daughter for this dance class finally, after a year that she was dancing in front of like YouTube like tutorials, and I took her first time. It was nice, and I was like, okay, we did this once, great, it's like one check, let's see what happens next week. Like, I don't know, she'll dance again next week, we'll see. It's like, you don't know. And for other people, I think it's more like it's unconsciously, they're like, yeah, going back to normal, they're like, it's fine, this is over, the war is over, but I think deep down they feel this pressure that things are changing and everything is unpredictable. I think they don't want to face it, so they're like, taking it, like just pushing it down, but I think it's there. You can kind of see it in their eyes. I interacted with moms today in this dance class. We were waiting, and I kind of saw this thing that I think they feel it too.
One of the things we have the ability to do is that we can already know where things are going, and because of that we can start to modify our current behavior. Otherwise, like an animal, for example, just lives day after day and has no vision of what the future is. So if we can understand already where the plan is going and bring that pressure to us today, we can already start preparing and arranging ourselves. If we don't, we live and we live and we live until we hit the next war, until we hit the next virus or something. But if we take all of that kind of inevitable future and bring it close in our emotions, then we can start to arrange ourselves today, and then we don't have to smack into it in the future. So I think what you're saying is all of that uncertainty, that pressure, right? That is because of the uncertain future. We need to bring that close and figure out how to arrange it. The problem is, without the knowledge or the method of how to arrange it, all we're left with is that really uncomfortable feeling that remains with us as we're approaching the next wall that we're going to hit, or the next war we're going to hit, or the next virus we're going to hit.
Yeah, I think the attitude to uncertainty is something that's worthwhile talking about here as well, because you can, uncertainty basically means there is a question mark that I'm facing. Like, what's gonna happen? I don't know. So, we talked about it, Ellie and I, how it's like it's a funny thing between us. It's a funny thing because I I always try to talk about how question marks are interesting. They're it's adventurous. now something new will happen. You're gonna go to places you've never gone before. And Allie is like, question mark, what's gonna happen? But it's funny. We all have these two attitudes, right? What you're saying is, if we know in general where evolution is going, that it's going towards more connection, more connectedness, more interdependence between people, more of the global nature of the world, the global problems of the world becoming intertwined with the individual. More nature is gradually making us all one thing. If we recognize that to some blurry, minimal, vague extent, but somewhat, that already gives us more confidence and motivation to deal with the uncertainty. Because we can look at it more like an adventure when we know that it's going somewhere rather than just madness.
So Mr. Kabbalist, that sounds great. And I see a woman here who was just hiding under a staircase with 3 kids while she was being rocketed. So it sounds good. It sounds good. I can't even imagine the thoughts that, go through your mind, or the emotions you feel, imagining possible outcomes in a situation like that. And whereas Asaf is like, I'm sure you were not happy about it, but you're like, all right, well, I guess this means that something new is going to happen. So
That's exactly how it was. No, but it's so funny. We were sitting under the staircases waiting for the sirens and I was like, okay, if it hits us, I hope everybody dies. Nobody left because that's what's up. But no.
Wait. Let me explain that.
I'm joking.
But wait. Let's say a word for.
Okay. You took me back there. I was like sitting there. I was like, oh, that's what I was thinking. But actually,
we were just saying it's better that we all die together instead of just some of us. So
if somebody's left, that sucks. Yeah, that was our little joke. But it was like, yeah. But what Asaf was saying about, we need to get like everybody to get the sense of where we're going, that blurred vision. We had those sirens that were letting us know that the bombs are coming, we have to hide. And instead of those sirens, people should just because you can hear it all around you in the streets and through your windows, I wish instead of those sirens, the microphone would open up and these words would come out, okay, this is what's happening, this is where we go, it's all for connection. It's like we have to reach that point where everybody can hear it.
Just got the chills.
Yeah, that's
pray for each other, care for everybody, love more.
Why are you here?
This is what happens when you don't love each other.
No, but
it's genius. Can we get this woman on with the government right away? Maybe those people who are making the kid in the back seat legislation.
Forget about those.
Nice.
Put the budget into saying good news when the rockets are flying. Love each other more, otherwise this is what happens.
Yeah. No, but look,
I think they should say it without the rockets coming. They should just say it on a regular sunny day. We don't have to hear it.
That's the problem, though. That's the problem, though. We don't hear it. We don't hear anything when it's a sunny.
Close up.
When it's a sunny day, we just want to bathe in the sun.
No,
and then
like sirens, but without the rockets, just telling people to love each other. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just education. It's not even love each other, because come on, but okay, evolution, maybe something more,
Yeah, let's try to let's phrase nature's message here.
Let's phrase it.
Let's do that. We have a minute.
People will be able to hear it. Yeah.
We really have to wrap up soon, right? Okay, Seth, you're first.
No, we hired Allie. So Allie, you have 1 minute to tell us nature's messages.
No, come on, we need to
as a mother.
Don't leave me.
as a
Um,
On
mother,
behalf of all of humanity.
yeah, if
tell
you
us.
like, you're in touch with all the mothers convention. At some point, Mother Nature comes to those meetings, right? What does she say?
yeah, but I can't put it in words because it's it's Mother Nature, but it's so also like when it gets down, like when you talk about kids, it's still so animalistic. I want my kids to
Mm.
have a good future. I want them to have a good life. It's so much more than that. So come on, you guys help me out.
Okay, I will
Let's do
start.
it
I'll start.
together, okay?
Um, we have to internalize that our life, human life, has a purpose that is beyond this world. That's where we're going. Everything that's happening here is a preparation, it is a training process. It is this 70, 80, 100, whatever years of life that we have clothed in this protein based body is just for us to connect to eternity. It's just for us to rise above all of the crap that we have here. And so all the problems that we have, it's nature helping us see that we got to rise to a new level, to a higher level of existence. On that level, yes, we're all connected. We're all one. We're all feeling the force of love that binds us all together, and how it makes no difference whether you're young or old or Arab or Jew or black or white or whatever. This is the naturally binding, connecting force of nature that only if we can get in touch with that force, we'll be able to be better towards each other. We can't be better towards each other. We can't just start loving each other and singing lovey-dovey kumbaya songs to each other. It's not going to happen with our own strength. It's only going to happen if we're going to get in touch with the deeper governing force of nature. And that's what we need to just want, to just crave it, to aspire to it. That's why we need to educate ourselves. That's what the sirens need to be saying, that we need to be conscious about where we want to go in life and how it has to do with nature's plan.
Ali, you bring out a soft side in my friend. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it with you.
and then after that, Seth, your song comes out, and that's it. And we wrap it up, and everything is like corrected.
You were a big hit. Debbie says we need a women's perspective here more. Thank you to Ali and Julie and Madame and Jangle Sticks.
Yeah. No, I saw Debbie also said we need more women in government. And this is a whole topic for another show, but I totally agree that, we messed up this world, men messed up this world, not for no reason. It's part of evolution, but there's no doubt that in this great transition that we're going through, the feminine
we had a
force,
reason for messing it up. Yeah, of course. First of all.
yeah, let me cover that base first. But
We had a reason.
No, but the feminine force is missing in order to create balance. It needs to be empowered, but not necessarily in ways that we think we know. The spiritual power of women is what needs to be kind of discovered as part of this great transition we're going through. Anyway, that's it. I just opened another show here. I'm sorry.
There needs to be like a demand. It's like it's a demand from the women's side, just a demand for like a better world. That's all. Like we don't even have to do anything. We just have to like feel we want it, and that's it.
You should have all women across. You should have women across the world like withhold sex until the men stop being jerks and stop fighting with each other.
Now that will create more wars. What are you talking about?
No. Give them the carrot. Like, stop fighting.
No, and then just like atomic bomb. Great. It's done.
All right, there might be some more nuance to this, but I think there's something to it. Okay.
All
Listen,
right.
thank you everybody. Thank you everybody
Yeah.
for being here with us on the Great Transition. We are normal people immersing ourselves for decades in the wisdom of the authentic wisdom of Kabbalah. We are looking at what's going on in the world through the lens of the authentic wisdom of Kabbalah. We're here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, the Great Transition. We will go through this together with you. Thank you to Gambia today who joined us, and Debbie, and from Turkey, I can't pronounce the name, I'm sorry, and Illuminat FX and Jangle Sticks and Parrot Girl and Javier and Amos, I think, for the first time from Uganda, and Nicholas in Prague, and all the friends everywhere. Thank you so much for joining us. Ali, thanks so much. Asaf, of course, you know I love hanging out with you all the time. And everybody, we will see you next Thursday, 2 p.m. East New York time here on The Great Transition. Thanks.
We're living in a time the people have awakened, living in a time the truth is standing naked, living in a time where everyone's connected. Underneath the ground, I can hear the sound. The earth is shaking, shaking. Underneath my feet, I can hear the beat. The world is changing, and the voice is calling us beyond the wall. We're living in a cage. The people are dependent, living in a cage where everyone's affected, living in a cage where everyone's connected. Underneath the ground, I can hear the sound. The earth is shaking, shaking. Underneath my feet, I can hear the beat. The world is changing, changing. Underneath the ground, I can hear the sound. The earth is shaking, shaking. Underneath my feet, I can hear the beat. The world is changing, and the voice